Everyone online is talking about micro businesses right now, side hustles, digital income, make money from your laptop. But let's be honest, most of it sounds either overhyped or flat out unrealistic. So here's the real question. Can you actually build a micro business that makes serious money without quitting your job, without investors, and without years of experience? I decided to stop watching from the sidelines and test it myself. No audience, no special skills, no secret connections, and definitely no guru shortcuts. Just 7 days. And one clear goal: build a brand new micro business capable of generating $1,000 per week. Not someday. Not passive income dreams. Real revenue, real customers, real proof. Because here's the truth most people won't tell you. We are living in one of the best times in history to start small and earn big. Tools that used to cost thousands are now free. Platforms that once required companies now welcome individuals. Skills that once took years can now be learned in hours. But opportunity alone isn't enough. Execution is everything. So I gave myself strict rules. I couldn't rely on luck. I couldn't go viral and call it a strategy. And I couldn't build something that takes months to work. This had to be practical, repeatable, beginner-friendly. Something you could actually do. Over the next 7 days, I documented everything. The ideas that failed, the doubts that hit, the moments I almost changed direction, and the exact steps that started turning into real traction. Because building a micro business isn't about magic. It's about solving a real problem, moving fast, and improving daily. Some days felt exciting. Some felt like I'd made a huge mistake, and at one point, I genuinely thought this challenge might end in complete failure. But here's what kept me going. If ordinary people are quietly building $1,000 a week income streams, then there must be a process behind it. And if there's a process, it can be learned. This video is not theory. It's not motivation without action. It's a step-by-step breakdown of what actually happened when I tried to build income from zero in just 1 week. Did it work? Did I hit $1,000 per week? Or did this turn out to be just another internet fantasy? Stay with me, because what happened over these 7 days completely changed how I see small businesses and what's truly possible when you stop waiting and start building. Now picture this. It's next Monday morning. You check your phone, and there's an extra $1,000 sitting in your account. Not from overtime, not from years of saving, but from a tiny business you started just 7 days ago. Sounds unrealistic, maybe even impossible. That's exactly what I thought too. So instead of arguing in the comments or buying another get-rich course, I decided to test the idea in the real world. 1 week. Zero experience in this business model. A strict target of $1,000 per week in revenue. And I documented everything. In this video, you're not getting motivational quotes or vague advice. You're seeing the actual process. How I chose the idea, how I validated it fast, the tools I used, the mistakes I made, and the moments where I honestly thought, this is not going to work. Because here's what most people misunderstand about micro businesses. They think you need a genius idea. You don't. They think you need a huge audience. You don't. They think you need funding. You don't. What you really need is speed, focus, and a simple offer that solves a specific problem for a specific group of people. That's it. No hype, no complicated systems. No manifesting wealth. Just clear steps, executed quickly. Over the next few minutes, I'm walking you through my full 7-day challenge, from the messy brainstorming phase to getting the first real response, to the point where this stopped feeling like an experiment and started feeling like a real business. And yes, the results surprised me. Not because it was easy, it wasn't. But because the path to real income turned out to be much more practical and much more achievable than I ever expected. If you've ever thought, I wish I had an extra $1,000 a week, but assumed you needed more time, more skills, or more money, This challenge might completely change how you see what's possible in just 7 days. Let's break down exactly how it happened. Let's be honest for a second. Most side hustles people talk about online barely make enough to cover a few subscriptions. Maybe your weekend coffee if you're lucky. You spend hours watching tutorials, setting things up, trying different apps, and at the end of the month you've made almost nothing. I was tired of that too. Tired of ideas that sound exciting but lead nowhere. Tired of easy money promises that turn into endless busy work. Tired of feeling like real income was always just out of reach. So I decided to raise the bar. Not make an extra $50. Not start a fun little project. I asked a much bigger question. Can I build a real micro business, one that has the potential to generate $1,000 per week in just 7 days? Not someday. Not after a year of posting content. But starting from scratch, right now. And this time, I didn't want hype. I didn't want theory. I didn't want perfectly edited success stories where you only see the wins. I wanted the truth, the messy thinking, the bad ideas, the moments of doubt, the small breakthroughs that actually move the needle. Because building something profitable isn't about looking smart. It's about testing fast, learning faster, and adjusting without quitting. This challenge became my personal experiment in what it really takes to go from zero to something that could realistically become a 4-figure per week business. No big budget, no team, no special advantages. Just a laptop, an internet connection, and a deadline that didn't care about excuses. Over the next 7 days, I tracked every move. What worked, what didn't, what wasted time, and what actually created momentum. And what I discovered changed the way I think about small businesses forever. Because small doesn't mean weak. Small can be focused, small can be fast, and small can be surprisingly profitable when you stop chasing trends and start solving real problems. This is the raw journey, not polished success, but practical progress. Let's get into how day one actually started, and why the first decision mattered more than anything else that followed. Before I could build anything, I had to define the mission clearly. Because vague goals create vague results. We're in a completely different business landscape right now. In 2026, micro businesses aren't just a trend, they're exploding. Why? Because technology has removed the old barriers. You don't need an office. You don't need staff. You don't even need to know how to code. One person with the right idea and the right tools can launch something in days that used to take months. AI handles tasks that once required teams. Marketplaces connect you to customers instantly. Payment systems are global from day one. Small has never been this powerful. Watching this shift made me think, if opportunity is everywhere, why are so many of us still stuck in the same financial routine? Wake up, work, pay bills, repeat. I didn't just want extra money. I wanted proof. Proof that a normal person, starting from zero, could build an income stream fast without waiting years for results. So I set an audacious goal. Build a micro business with the potential to generate $1,000 per week in just 7 days. To make it real, I gave myself strict rules. First, a tight budget. No throwing money at ads or fancy tools to hide bad decisions. Second, limited time each day. This had to work around real life, like it would for anyone with a job or responsibilities. Third, the income had to be tangible. Not followers, not views, not maybe later. I was aiming for actual paying customers or clear proof that revenue was within reach. 7 days. Clear constraints. One measurable target. No excuses. No endless planning. Just action. And results that would either validate the idea or prove it was just another myth. Day one. Brainstorming and finding the right niche. Day one wasn't about building. It was about thinking strategically, not creatively. Most people start with, what do I feel like doing? I started with, where is money already moving? In 2026, the biggest opportunities aren't in inventing something new. They're in solving urgent problems faster, cheaper, or simpler than traditional providers. So I looked for services that had three things: high demand, low startup cost, skills that can be learned or delivered quickly. Instead of chasing saturated trends, I focused on micro problems businesses and creators face every single day. Things they don't want to do themselves, but are willing to pay to get done. I ignored ideas that required months of branding, big audiences, or complex tech. This challenge was about speed and revenue, not building a personal brand empire. By the end of day one, I didn't have a perfect idea, but I had three strong service-based micro-business concepts that were realistic, profitable, and launchable within days. That was the goal. Not perfection, momentum with direction. Day 2, rapid market validation. Day 2 was all about answering one question. Will real people actually pay for this? Not friends, not online polls. Strangers with real problems and real budgets. I used free tools and platforms to study demand. I searched for people actively asking for help, businesses already paying for similar services, and gaps where quality or speed was missing. I looked at what people complain about, what they repeatedly request, where providers are slow, expensive, or hard to reach. This wasn't deep research, it was fast validation. Within hours, patterns started to appear. One of my ideas clearly had stronger demand, clearer pain points, and less competition at the entry level. That became the winner. By the end of day 2, I wasn't hoping it would work anymore. I had evidence that people were already spending money in this space, which meant I didn't need to convince the market, just position myself inside it. Day 3, building the MVP fast. Now, it was time to stop researching and start building. Day 3 was focused on creating a minimum viable product. The simplest version of the service that still delivers real value. Not a logo, not a fancy website, not weeks of preparation, just the core result a customer would pay for. I used beginner-friendly tools to set up a basic service structure, define clear deliverables, and package the offer in a way that was easy to understand and easy to buy. The rule was simple. If someone messages me today, I must be able to deliver. Within 48 hours, I had a clear service, a defined target customer, a simple way for people to order. It wasn't pretty, but it was real. And that's the difference between dreaming about a business and actually starting one. Day 4, leveraging AI for smart outreach. By day 4, the business was ready. But a business without customers is just a hobby. This was outreach day. Instead of blasting generic messages everywhere, I used AI as a productivity partner. Not to spam, but to personalize at scale. First, I defined exactly who my ideal client was, what they do, what problems they face, and why my service saves them. Time, stress, or money. Then, I used AI tools to help draft short, clear outreach messages tailored to different types of prospects. Not salesy, not desperate, just direct and helpful. The goal wasn't to convince people. It was to start conversations by highlighting a specific problem and offering a simple solution. AI also helped speed up research, identifying businesses, creators, or professionals who clearly fit my niche. What used to take hours of manual searching now took minutes. By the end of day 4, I had sent dozens of targeted, personalized messages, and more importantly, I was already getting replies. Not all yes, not all no. But conversations had started. And in business, conversations are the doorway to cash flow. Day 5, finding untapped places. Where buyers hang out, most beginners market in the same crowded places. Big social platforms where everyone is shouting and nobody is listening. Day 5 was about working smarter. Instead of competing for attention in oversaturated feeds, I looked for smaller, focused communities where my ideal clients were already asking for help. These were niche groups, forums, comment sections, and professional spaces where problems are discussed openly and solutions are welcomed, not ignored. The key was simple. Don't pitch first, provide value first. I answered questions, shared useful insights, pointed out common mistakes. Once people saw I understood their problem, starting a private conversation felt natural, not pushy. This strategy changed everything. Instead of chasing people, I started attracting the right ones. Prospects were warmer, more responsive, and already aware they needed help. By the end of day 5, I wasn't just sending messages. I had real prospects asking about pricing and timelines. That's when it started to feel like a real business. Day 6, turning conversations into paying clients. Day 6 was sales day. And honestly, this is where most people get uncomfortable. But I realized something important. Selling isn't about pressure, it's about clarity. By now, I had people interested. My job wasn't to convince them. It was to clearly explain the outcome, the process, and the price. I used a simple structure in conversations. Understand their problem. Explain how my service solves it. Show what they'll receive. State the price confidently. Stay quiet and let them decide. No over-explaining. No discount panic, no chasing. Some people said no, and that was fine. But others said yes, faster than I expected, because the offer was specific and the problem was real. I also handled objections calmly. If someone hesitated, I clarified results, reduced confusion, and focused on value, not just cost. By the end of day 6, the shift was undeniable. This wasn't an experiment anymore. Money had entered the picture. Day 7. The first $1,000. Moment day 7 didn't feel dramatic at first. No fireworks, no viral explosion, just a notification. Then another. And when I added everything together, I realized I had crossed the line I'd set just a week earlier. The business had officially generated revenue at a pace that could reach $1,000 per week. That moment felt different than any paycheck I've earned before. Because this wasn't traded time. This wasn't overtime. This came from an idea that didn't exist 7 days ago. It proved something powerful. Income doesn't only come from employers. It can come from systems you build yourself. And the biggest surprise? It wasn't luck. It came from small, repeatable actions done daily. Validating demand, reaching out, improving the offer, and staying consistent even when results were slow. Hitting that number didn't mean I was rich. But it meant the model worked, and once something works once, it can be improved, repeated, and scaled. That's when this stopped being a challenge and started becoming a real asset. Systemizing the success, buying back my time. Once money started coming in, the goal shifted from, can this work, to how do I make this run without me doing everything? Because a business that depends entirely on your time is just another job. So I began systemizing. I documented each step of delivering the service, from first message to final delivery. Then I looked for tasks that were repetitive and low skill. Those became the first things to automate or delegate. AI tools helped with drafting, organizing, and speeding up communication. Templates replaced typing from scratch. Checklists reduced mistakes. Simple workflows saved hours. The goal wasn't to remove myself completely. It was to reduce the time needed per client while keeping quality high. Even saving 1 hour per project increases profit and frees time to get more clients. That's when income starts separating from effort. Instead of working more to earn more, the system does more while you work the same. Or less. Future-proofing. Turning one stream into many. The final step wasn't just scaling, it was protecting the future. One service, one offer, one platform. That's a good start, but not long-term security. So I looked at natural expansions. What related problems do my clients have? What complementary services could increase order value? What parts of this could become digital products or recurring income? The goal is simple. Turn one income stream into multiple connected ones. That could mean upsells, monthly retainers, small digital add-ons, or packaging knowledge into products. Each layer adds stability and reduces risk. Because real financial freedom doesn't come from one lucky win. It comes from building small, reliable systems that stack over time. 7 days built the foundation. Now the focus is growth, leverage, and turning a micro business into a long-term income machine. So what's the big takeaway from this 7-day challenge? First, let's kill the myth of overnight success. Nothing magical happened here. No secret hack. No lucky break. What did happen was focused effort, fast action, and daily improvement. Rapid growth isn't about working nonstop. It's about working on the right things in the right order. Second, there's a simple framework you can follow. Step 1. Find a real problem people are already paying to solve. Step 2. Validate demand quickly. Don't guess. Step 3. Build a basic version of your service fast. Step 4. Reach out directly to people who need it. Step 5. Improve, refine, and repeat. That's it. No waiting for perfect conditions. No endless planning. And finally, don't do this alone. If you're starting your own 7-day challenge, share your progress in the comments. Your wins will inspire others, and your obstacles might get solved faster than you think. Real businesses are built through action, not silent overthinking. Now here's the real question. A week from today, will you still be watching other people build income? Or will you be building your own? Your 7 days start the moment you decide. This video is for educational purpose only and is not a financial advice. Subscribe, share, and hit the bell icon if you want more real-world experiments like this, where we test ideas, show the numbers, and learn in public. Hit subscribe, and let's build something real.